Picture this. It's 6:30 p.m. on a Tuesday. You just finished a brutal day at work. You're exhausted, your brain is fried, and the absolute last thing you want to do is chop vegetables. So you pick up your phone, open an app, and tap a button. 30 minutes later, a bag of lukewarm food arrives at your door. You paid $28 for a burrito that costs $11 at the store. You just paid a 150% markup on beans and rice. And the worst part? You probably didn't even blink. You told yourself you deserved it because you worked hard today. But what if I told you that this habit isn't just costing you 20 bucks here and there? What if I told you that the convenience industrial complex is mathematically designed to steal your retirement, keep you trapped in the rat race, and sell you back your own time at a premium you can't actually afford? My name is Lolita, and I spend way too much time analyzing the invisible leaks that drain the wealth of the middle class, while everyone pretends everything is fine. If you've ever looked at your bank account at the end of the month and wondered where all your money went, even though you didn't buy anything big, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Because today, we aren't talking about the obvious stuff. We're talking about the lazy tax. Here is the reality that nobody wants to admit. We live in an economy that has monetized your exhaustion. Companies like DoorDash, Uber, and Amazon have figured out a glitch in the human operating system. They know that when you are tired, stressed, or busy, your price sensitivity drops to zero. They know that if they can remove the friction, if they can make spending money easier than saving it, you will choose the path of least resistance every single time. We call this convenience, but that's just a marketing term. A more accurate term would be wealth extraction. And today, we are going to audit your life. We are going to look at the brutal math behind delivery apps, ride shares, and one-click ordering. I'm going to show you how these small daily decisions are compounding into a massive financial disaster, and why reclaiming your inconvenience might be the single most profitable thing you ever do. Let's start with the most obvious offender: food delivery. This is the area where I see smart people make the dumbest mathematical decisions of their lives. Let's break down the anatomy of a DoorDash order, because most people never actually look at the receipt. They just look at the place order button. Let's say you want a burger combo. If you drove to the restaurant, the menu price is $14. But when you open the app, that same burger isn't $14, it's $16.50. Why? Because the restaurants mark up the menu prices on the app to cover the commission they have to pay the platform. So before you've even added a fee, you've already paid a hidden 18% tax. Then comes the service fee. That's usually around 15%. Then the delivery fee. That's another $3 to $5. Then the small order fee if you're just ordering for yourself. And finally, the tip. And you have to tip because otherwise your food sits under a heat lamp for an hour. By the time you check out, that $14 burger combo is costing you $32. You just paid an effective tax rate of over 100% on a hamburger. If the government tried to tax your food at 100%, there would be riots in the streets. But when a tech company does it and calls it convenience, we thank them for it. And here is the psychological trap. You justify it by saying, it saves me time. Does it? Does it really? Let's do the math on your time value. If you earn $60,000 a year, your after-tax hourly wage is roughly $22. If that delivery order cost you an extra $18 in fees and markups compared to picking it up yourself, you just traded almost an hour of your life to save 20 minutes of driving. You are working at a loss. You are paying the app more per hour than your employer pays you. This is what I call negative arbitrage. You are selling your time wholesale at your job and buying it back retail on the app. It is a mathematical impossibility to build wealth when you operate your life this way. But it's not just food, it's the entire get it now culture. Look at Amazon Prime. The genius of Amazon wasn't free shipping, it was removing the pain of paying. Behavioral economists know that when you have to take cash out of your wallet, your brain registers pain, it registers loss. But when you click Buy Now and the item just shows up tomorrow, that pain center is bypassed. You get the dopamine hit of the purchase without the psychological sting of the payment. This leads to what I call frictionless poverty. The easier it is to spend money, the poorer you will be. Companies are spending billions of dollars to grease the chute between your bank account and their revenue stream. They store your credit card info. They autofill your address. They suggest add-on items. They make it so that you can spend $500 while lying in bed half asleep. And what are you buying? Usually it's not assets, it's consumer junk that ends up in a landfill or a donation bin in 6 months. You are trading your life energy, the hours you spent working, for cardboard boxes filled with dopamine triggers that expire the moment you open them. Now let's talk about transportation, because this is another area where the lazy tax destroys budgets. I see so many people, especially in major cities, who argue that taking Uber or Lyft everywhere is actually cheaper than owning a car. And in very specific, rare circumstances, that might be true. But for the vast majority of people, the convenience of rideshare is a trap. When you rely on Uber, you are subject to surge pricing and variable costs. You lose control over your budget. But more importantly, you start making lifestyle decisions based on the laziness factor. It's raining? Uber. Running 10 minutes late? Uber. Don't feel like walking 4 blocks? Uber. These $15 and $20 rides don't feel like much in the moment. It's just $20, right? But if you take an Uber twice a day, 5 days a week, plus a few on the weekends, you're easily spending $1,000 to $1,200 a month on transportation. Compare that to the beater strategy we talk about on this channel, buying a reliable 5-year-old Toyota or Honda. Even with gas, insurance, and maintenance, that car might cost you $400 or $500 a month to operate. The difference is $700 a month. That is a fully funded Roth IRA plus a vacation. But the Uber user doesn't see it that way. They see the convenience of not parking. They see the convenience of looking at their phone while someone else drives. They are paying a premium for passivity, and that is the core of the lazy tax. It is a tax on passivity. The active person, the one who drives, who cooks, who plans, keeps their money. The passive person, the one who waits, who orders, who reacts, gives their money away. And let's be real about why we do this. We do it because we are exhausted. We are part of a generation that is working harder with more digital distractions, more stress, and less sleep than ever before. The convenience industrial complex preys on that exhaustion. They know that at 6 p.m. your willpower is depleted. Decision fatigue has set in. You physically cannot bring yourself to chop an onion or find a parking spot. So they offer you a solution. Give us your money and we will take away the pain. It's a drug dealer model. The first hit of convenience feels amazing, but then you build a tolerance. Suddenly, cooking once a week feels like a monumental effort. Walking to the store feels like a hardship. You become dependent on the paid service just to function. You have outsourced your basic survival skills to a corporation that charges a 30% premium. Now, I want to show you the part that should actually scare you. Because spending $20 extra on dinner doesn't seem like a life-ruining event. And in isolation, it isn't. But wealth isn't built in isolation. It's built in the aggregate. Let's run the numbers on a typical convenience lifestyle. Let's say you order delivery 3 times a week. That's a conservative estimate for many young professionals. The markup, fees, and tip cost you an extra $20 per order compared to cooking. That's $60 a week. Let's say you take 4 unnecessary Ubers a week because you didn't plan your time well. That's another $60. Let's say you make 2 impulse purchases on Amazon a week because of buy now friction removal. Let's call that $40 of wasted money on stuff you didn't really need. Total lazy tax? $160 per week. That is $640 per month. That is $7,680 per year. Now, you might look at that and say, well, $7,000 is a lot, but it's the price of enjoying my life. Wrong. You are missing the opportunity cost. This is the concept that wealthy people understand and broke people ignore. Every dollar you spend on a lukewarm burrito is a dollar that cannot work for you in the market. If you took that $640 per month, money you are currently setting on fire for the privilege of not cooking, and invested it in a standard S&P 500 index fund, earning an average 8% return, in 10 years you wouldn't have $76,000. You'd have $115,000. In 20 years, you'd have $370,000. In 30 years, you'd have $938,000. Let that sink in. Nearly $1 million. That is the true cost of your convenience. You aren't paying $20 for delivery. You are paying $1 million of your future freedom. You are eating your retirement. You are trading a secure financial future for a slightly easier Tuesday evening. Is the burrito worth $1 million? Is the Uber ride worth working an extra 5 years at a job you hate? Because that is the trade you are making. When you view it through the lens of compound interest, Lazy becomes the most expensive luxury brand in the world. It costs more than Gucci. It costs more than a Ferrari. It costs you your financial independence. This brings us to the deeper psychological truth. Why do we do this? Why do we voluntarily hand over our wealth for things that bring us almost no lasting value? It's because we have confused comfort with reward. We tell ourselves, I work hard, I deserve this. You tell yourself you deserve the delivery because you had a tough day. You deserve the Uber because you're tired. You deserve the Amazon gadget because you're stressed. But here is the reality check. You are paying to sustain the life that is making you tired. It is a vicious feedback loop. You work a stressful job to make money. The job drains your energy, so you spend that money on convenience to cope with the exhaustion. Because you spend all your money on convenience, you have no savings. Because you have no savings, you cannot leave the stressful job. So you have to keep working, which keeps you tired, which makes you keep spending. You are funding your own prison. The convenience industrial complex is just the commissary selling you snacks while you sit in the cell. The aha moment comes when you realize that doing the hard thing, cooking the meal, driving the car, waiting 24 hours to buy the item, is actually the ultimate self-care, because it buys you out of the rat race. True self-care isn't ordering Thai food at 9 p.m. True self-care is having $50,000 in the bank so you can look your boss in the eye and say no when they ask you to work late. True self-care is knowing that if you lost your job tomorrow, you'd be fine for 2 years. The lazy tax is a tax on your agency. It's a tax on your ability to control your own life. When you stop paying it, you aren't just saving money, you are reclaiming your energy. You are breaking the cycle of exhaustion spending. So, how do we fix this? How do we break an addiction to convenience that has been engineered by some of the smartest software developers and marketers in the world? We have to reintroduce friction. We have spent the last decade removing friction from our lives, and it has made us broke. Now we need to intentionally put it back. Step 1. The digital detox. Delete the apps. I mean it. Delete DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub off your phone. If you really absolutely need to order food, force yourself to do it on a desktop computer, log in manually, and type in your credit card number. That tiny bit of friction, that 90 seconds of effort, is often enough to make your brain wake up and say, wait, do I really want to spend $40 on tacos? Step 2. The hourly wage calculation. Before you pay for convenience, calculate the cost in hours of work. If you take home $20 an hour and the delivery fees are $20, ask yourself, am I willing to sit at my desk for another full hour just to avoid 20 minutes of cooking? Usually, the answer is no. You hate your desk more than you hate your stove. Make the conversion real in your head. Step 3. The 24-hour rule. For Amazon or any online shopping, never buy anything immediately. Add it to the cart, then close the tab. Wait 24 hours. The dopamine rush of wanting fades very quickly. 90% of the time, you'll come back the next day and wonder why you even wanted that plastic garbage in the first place. You are saving your future self from your present self's impulses. Step 4. Meal prep as a wealth strategy. Stop looking at cooking as a chore. Look at it as a part-time job that pays you $50 an hour tax-free. If you spend 2 hours on Sunday prepping lunches for the week, and that saves you $100 in takeout costs, you just earned $50 an hour. That is likely more than you make at your day job. It is the highest ROI activity you can do in your spare time. Here is the bottom line. The world wants you to be passive. The world wants you to be tired, lazy, and free with your credit card. The entire economy is structured to extract wealth from people who value now over later. But you don't have to play that game. You can choose to be active. You can choose to be inconvenient. Every time you cook a meal instead of ordering out, you are paying yourself. Every time you drive yourself or take the bus, you are paying yourself. Every time you close the Amazon tab, you are paying yourself. You are taking that money back from the corporations and putting it into your own freedom fund. I want you to try this for just 1 month. Go cold turkey on the lazy tax. No delivery apps, no impulse buys, no paid convenience. Take that $600 or $800 you save and dump it into your emergency fund or your investment account. Watch what happens to your anxiety levels. Watch what happens to your sense of control. You will realize that the convenience wasn't making your life easier, it was making your life harder because it was keeping you on the treadmill. Stop paying the tax, cook the eggs, drive the car, wait the 24 hours. Your future self, the one sitting on $1 million portfolio instead of a pile of takeout containers, will thank you for it. If this video made you realize how much money you're lighting on fire every month, hit that like button so more people can wake up to the scam. And subscribe, because we're going to keep exposing the traps that keep you broke. I'll see you in the next one.